This is why we look at the ETFs or the industry groups. We want to see where there's strength. If an ETF's really strong, the odds are we will find stocks that are really strong. If the ETF is really weak, it tells us there's not a lot of power in that group. Stay away from it. There's power in both of those foundations. So here we go. You can always see what's up here is the upper left-hand corner. BOTZ is the ticker symbol. Global Robotics, Artificial Intelligence. And you can see it's lagging here. It's below the 50-day. This is an important foundation too. Stocks that are below a falling 50-day are less reliable to buy. Just leave it alone. There's no power here. It also tells us something else. Right now, stay away from this group. Let's move on to the next one. Here we go. Cloud computing, lagging. Be careful with that. All right, there's no power there with cloud computing. Diamonds, no real power there, although it did close up just a little bit on Friday. Okay, it's below the moving averages. Know this. This is only 30 stocks. It's price weighted. It's not that relevant to our decision-making process, but it does show us this, the Dow's acting a little bit better than a lot of other indices. Let's continue onwards. Here we go. Dow Jones Internet rallies right up to the 50-day. It's fallen again. Fallen 50-day. Be careful with internet stocks. That's simple. IBD 50 lagging. This needs to push through the falling 50-day with volume. And note, it rallied up on decreasing volume and it fell on heavier volume. Be careful. Bottom line is the IBD 50, which is a great group of leading stocks. There's not a lot of power there at this point in time. I need to pause here and share something. Please don't think, oh, Pat Walker's all negative. No. This is a great quote. It's not mine, but I love it. I never met a wealthy pessimist. There's opportunity and we're looking for it, but we're also realist. We look for opportunity, and if it's not there, we leave it alone. The IBD 50 is not showing a lot of power. Be cautious. Dorsey Wright, First Trust, Dorsey Wright Growth, not a lot of leadership here either. Be careful with that. China is lagging. Needs to push above this line. The 50-day needs to push above these tops, and I'll draw it for you to help you. There we go. Needs to push above there with volume. Note, it lifted up to the line on just so-so volume, and then they take it right back down on a pickup in volume. Met with selling. These are tactics that work. Oh, gold miners doesn't look too bad. All right, now here we go. That's something that can take into consideration. GDX, you could do a Google search and find out what are the top 10 holdings in GDX. Maybe there's a candidate there. All right, and again, it lifted through the 50-day on a pickup in volume. It's not the best looking chart here on the daily or the weekly, okay? But it is showing a little bit of power, especially in relation to a lot of others. Gold, look at that. Another one. You could say, oh, maybe I should check into some gold stocks. There you go. But focus on clean and simple entry. Don't chase price. Biotechnology, not a lot of power there. Oil has been good to us. We've had some energy stocks work, and it's still hanging in there. What does that tell us? Oil, energy, not a bad place to be. Continue onwards. Software technology started to go up. Needs to start pushing above here, folks. Take these tops out. That's what we need to see. All right? Till then, be cautious with software technology. Medicine. What does this tell you? And what has it been telling us for a while? Stay away from medical stocks. It's that simple. And isn't it great? We know that at Mission of Winners. We do that, and that helps us. Part of making money is also not losing money. That's why we do this, to focus on where the money's going and also know where the money's not going. How about that? There you go. Mid-cap lagging. Not a lot of power there with the mid-cap stocks. Aerospace defense shows a little bit of power. Part of this is related to the stuff happening over in the Middle East. Okay. Right here. Perhaps it'll lift off. That's, again, it's related to that situation there, which is awful. Okay. Just awful. So got to watch this and maybe see what happens. What are a couple of big defense stocks? Well, Northrop Grumman, NOC, Lockheed Martin, LMT, and there's others. You maybe take a look into them, okay? There we go. U.S. home construction, nothing. There's nothing there. By the way, I want to show you something. You see this run earlier in the year? We owned a bunch of home building stocks. Kaufman and Broadhome, Pulte Homes, and did really well. But right now, there's nothing there. Leave it alone. This is an important lesson for everybody too. We don't have pet stocks and pet groups, all right? Oh, this is always the one. No, let price and volume tell you what to do. Approach the markets with an open mind and always control discipline. S&P 500 growth showed a little bit of life. Look at that. Pushed up a little bit over the 50-day, came back down off of it. But S&P 500 growth, there you go. A little bit more power than a lot of sectors. Something to take into consideration. Small caps lagging, leave it alone. Team, I know you can say, boy, you went fast on that. Why overthink it? Look at the trend. Look at the trend on the weekly. Look at the trend here. It's falling. Stay away from small cap stocks. That's it. Oh, well, maybe this is the bottom. Please don't play the maybe game. Stack the deck in your favor by focusing on strength. It will really help you, I promise. All right. Real estate, not a lot of power there. Transport's lagging, leave them alone. Airlines grounded, leave it alone. That's dad humor for you. There you go. Got to have fun too. Regional banking, stay away from them. Mid-cap lagging, be careful with it. Oil services, oh, there's another oil one. Okay, picking up a little bit. And again, part of this is related to the stuff that's happening over in the Middle East. Okay, there we go. Pharmaceuticals, that's okay, but not that powerful. QLD rallied up over the 50-day, and they took it right back down. Now, what do we do with a situation like this? Do you see this bar right here? It gaps up, runs up, and reverses down on a pickup in volume. It tells you, A, don't buy me. B, if you own me, be careful. C, be careful with the big MAXLIST stocks and NASDAQ stocks. That's power. Emission winners, that's what you do. Literally, in a couple of seconds, you could have made that decision. Oh, that looks pretty good. Oh, better be cautious. Better be cautious. Yep, there you go. Done. That's it. Let's move on here. QQQ, that's the non-leveraged one. Not so good. Retailing, no power. Be careful with it. Silver showing a little bit of life, but not a lot of power. Steel lagging, leave it alone. Semiconductors ran up, pulled back, but it was showing a little bit more power than a lot of other groups. Technology related. Let me think. What's technology? What are those big NASDAQ stocks that are... Oh, yeah, QQQ and QLD. That's how we connect the dots. You can see it's fun, isn't it? Here we go. Spiders, similar situation. Well, here, I'll go back to this. Rallies up, falls on increasing volume. We need to see some power, folks. You see that price alert set? I've already got it set. I want to see this start picking up and taking out these highs here and then push through the 50-day on volume. Until then, it just tells me be a little cautious. There we go. SSO, same situation. Solar, there's nothing there. Nothing. Small caps, nothing. Uranium, not real power there. Okay, just be cautious with that. It is above the 50-day. Oil popped up. There's another theme there related to the Middle East stuff. Okay, and you can see slight pickup. Maybe looking at some energy stocks. There you go. Consumer discretionary. What does this say? The consumer's not involved the consumer's not doing too much. They're not buying consumer stocks. Be cautious in that sector. Continue onwards. Aerospace and defense. This one spiked up because of the Middle East situation. Maybe it'll base here and take off. Notice here's the weekly. Good volume on that weekly. All right. Biotechnology, nothing. Home builders, nothing. Basic materials. How do you build things? How do you build homes with basic materials? Nothing. Here we go. Communication services. Now this was showing a little life. Look at this. It was picking up. And this is the power of the market. The M in mission winners. It comes first for a reason. Oh, this looks pretty good. Oh man, this is it. It's breaking out. Boom, right back down. What's the moral? Don't argue with the markets. I need to share this, and I'm speaking from my heart. Everything I share with you or say are statements I wish somebody would have said to me years ago. Hey, Pat, why are you looking at some sector? It's dropping. Leave it alone. Leave those stocks alone. Focus on strength. It will really help you. And I share that with you. And that's from my heart. Here we go. Energy picking up just a little bit. Still kind of loose though, okay? Still kind of loose here. Be careful with that. All right. Financials, not a lot of power. Be careful with that. Industrials, not a lot of power. Be careful with that. Technology looked pretty good. Slapped it down again on Friday. And this is why we've been cautious. This just exactly because of this. But this does look better than a lot of them, okay? Technology related. Consumer staples, there's nothing there. Stay away. Consumer stocks. Healthcare, a little bit of power, but not a lot. Consumer discretionary falling again, not a lot of power. Be careful. Metals and mining, look at this. When you see wide and loose patterns like this is a great lesson for everybody. Wide and loose chart patterns are indicative of high investor emotions. Be careful with action like this. It'll mess you up. We don't want to mess with it. Oil and gas, another oil and gas. I think I've shown you at least 3 or 4 now, oil and gas energy ETFs that don't look too bad. There you go. Maybe on your retail, the consumer's not buying. Leave it alone. Software's, they're not buying software stocks. That's it. I need to pause here. You can say, boy, you blew right into it and that was it. Oh, look at the weekly chart and daily chart. We don't need to overthink it. There's no power in here. Just leave it alone for right now. Maybe it'll turn, but for right now, there's nothing there. There we go. And the MAXLIST. Okay, so now here's Apple. You can see what this did here. It rallied up and then it fell back, okay? Resistance right here on the 21-week moving average, exponential. It needs to take out these tops and it needs to do it on volume. But you look at the overall chart pattern, it's not the best chart pattern, folks. I mean, you're not going to see this in any book saying, this is the setup here, here you go. This is a clean and simple flat base, or this is a cup and a handle. You won't, high or low, it's not there. So be careful with Apple. Let's move on here. Amazon, look, this is a great lesson. By the way, charts, there are tremendous lessons in the charts if we just take time to observe and soak it in. Everybody knows about certain moving averages. What's one of them we know about? The 50-day. The green line's the 50-day. Institutions use the 50-day and we get in line with them. Look what it does. Rallies right up to the 50-day, backs off on Thursday, goes up a little bit Friday, and then they take it down. That's the M in the market. That's the M in mission winners. Don't argue with the markets. Always get in line with it. Ride trends, but always control risk. Not a lot of power there. This really needs to push above the 50-day on volume. Okay? Till then, be cautious. Alibaba, there's nothing there. Bye-bye. Remember that? Well, who did that? Bye-bye. Was that a Seinfeld deal? Bye-bye. Okay. You can see these tops across here. Falling 50-day. There's no power there. Look at this. It rallies up. And by the way, this is another important lesson. This is the stuff we teach in Mission Winners. Just because it's a green bar doesn't mean it's a good bar. Just because it's a red bar doesn't mean it's a bad bar. But right here's a green bar. It gaps up. It runs up. It closed below where it opened. All right. Volume was low. But then the next day in this market, they just take it right down on a pickup in volume. That's a lesson you can use, folks. That's a foundation. BIDU, there's no power there. Be careful with BIDU. Google started to go. You see these tops across here, and you can see it on the weekly. Started to lift, and then what happens? They take it back. There's the M in canceling. There's the M in mission winners. The markets, it comes first. That's why it's the first letter in mission. Don't argue with it. Goes up. We had this. We sold into strength, locked the rest in, and I'm glad we did because we would have let a profit turn into a loss, and we don't want to do that. All right. Goldman Sachs, stay away. There's nothing here. Here's a compare and contrast. Oh, this has kind of been grinding up here a little bit on the daily. Well, this ain't doing nothing. So we haven't been involved with it. Just leave it alone. MasterCard, nothing there. Leave it alone. Meta, we bought this pushing through this line. You can see these tops, and look at the volume pickup on that bar. And look at the trend. Look at the weekly. Rallies up, and what do? Sells into strength. Really helped us. No sells into strength, comes back down almost close to our price. You ride the roller coaster for nothing. I don't want to do that. We're here to make money. By the way, we key on day charts, weekly charts and day charts. We're not sitting here looking at 5-minute charts and day trading, but you can see even that was a decent run. And what helped us? Again, sells into strength. No sells into strength. You buy here, the whole gain was gone at one time. I don't want to do that. Really not a lot to do with it now. What it needs to do here, I'm going to give you a game plan. This needs to bounce off this line. It needs to take out the highs of this bar and do it on really good volume. But note, it closed near the lows of the day. There's not a lot of power there. Be careful with that. Microsoft, it's okay, but not a lot of power. Be cautious with that. Netflix is nothing. Okay? Netflix has been better. By the way, you see on the weekly, that's why we look at weeklies. We bought this back in May, and that was a rocket ship. That's over 100-point move there, folks. Right there. Look at that. But right now, look at it now. Look at the weekly. Compare and contrast. Oh, that doesn't look too bad with the green. And that doesn't look so good with the red. There we go. That'll help you. Continue onwards. NVDA. Rallied up. They took it right back down. Poster child for the market. I'm not slamming the company. I'm not slamming the stock. I'm just pointing out what's going on in the markets. And it just tells us to be careful, be a little careful, that's all. Know this too, the dust will settle here. Bull markets have not been outlawed. I've been doing this since 1986. I remember the crash of 87. Oh, that's it, it's the end of the darn world. Well, gosh, I guess the market did all right since then, didn't it? It's had its ups and downs, but I think it's done pretty good, all right? Tesla started to lift off on volume, comes up, they take it right back down. Tells you to be cautious. That's simple. Needs to bounce off the 50-day, not a lot of power at this point in time. Visa, it's below the 50-day, needs to show some power, nothing there.
Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit like. Maybe hit that subscribe button. We come up with new content nearly every day. Also, check out the videos on the right. YouTube recommends the one on the top, and the bottom one is something we thought you might enjoy. See you next time.